This is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a map called Crazy Land. And for this map, I really struggled to decide where we should start the video, but I think we should start at default. And here we are. Where are we exactly? Well, we are at the top of this giant set of ramps. Also, you will be seeing this face a lot throughout the map, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's there, it's everywhere, and I'm not exactly sure why. Anyways, we're at the top of a ramp. We have a truck. That means it's time to accelerate and watch the chaos unfold. Although I don't think the truck will be quite fast enough to go through the whole ramp. Like, how can a vehicle be too slow to go through a ramp? Well, you'll see eventually, but right now, let's just get some speed. We're going to be going probably close to 200 miles per hour at the bottom of this. Yeah, about 180 miles per hour. And then, can we make the first jump? I think you can make this first jump all right. Oh yeah, there we go. We made it. Can we get it smooth, though? That was actually pretty smooth. Good job, truck. Here's where the problem comes in, though. We have a looping thing right here, and, well, the camera doesn't know what to do, and the truck just doesn't have the power. You see, it's supposed to hit that ramp. Instead, it didn't, and it smashed into the ground. So, I like using a truck here because it has that extra ground clearance. We need a faster truck. Now, of course, the dummy in me is like, D35 Beast, but I always use the D35 Beast. So let's try something a little bit different. We'll go with the D15 Custom. This is a vehicle I don't actually get to use that much just because it is a little bit difficult to control at times. It's a rear-wheel drive truck with like 600 horsepower, no stability control, and there's not a lot of weight on the rear wheels, so they can kick out a little bit easier than you'd expect. But once you get to around 100 miles per hour, it really doesn't matter. So at that point, you can go ahead and floor it, and we can get up to about 186 miles per hour, and I'm gonna slow it down a little bit for the jump because I don't want to go that much faster than I did last time. Am I gonna make it? Yes, I am, and a nice smooth jump. That was a really well executed jump. Good thing I braked. So here we go. We're gonna do the loop again, and I know the camera's gonna freak out, so I am gonna compensate for that. There's the freak out. We realign the camera so it has a nice position, and then you can actually watch what the truck does. So it inverts itself upside down, does a little loop, and then we are once again right side up in just a few seconds, but with 4x slow-mo, it's a lot easier to watch it. And now we're doing another jump, which I was completely unprepared for because I was too busy watching the truck go through the loop, but we made it okay. Yeah, we got some damage on the rear, but you know what? I always wanted a shorter bed on my truck. I love short beds. So the shorter the bed, the better. Although, is the short bed making it a little bit more unstable? I think it might be. I think when I did that, it might have got the suspension dinged up just a little tiny bit. But when you're going 100 miles per hour, those little tiny bits, you can feel them. And you start to swerve back and forth. And before you know it, you fall off of the road because there are no barriers on the side to keep you on the road. And I'm just a little too afraid to try to go through this flat out with the truck in its current condition. I bet we could, but it's just not worth the risk. Even with me slowing down a little bit, we got a little too close to the edge there. And here you need to slow down. Just a little bit, because otherwise you just fly right here. You need to slow down to make sure you don't fly or do that where you just bounce all over the place. I should have slowed down a little bit more. And there's a ramp over here. If you have a really fast car, you could go for round 2. Unfortunately, the custom pickup is not quite fast enough to get ourselves a round 2. And that has actually immobilized the truck, although I kind of do like the way the damage looks on this. I'll give you guys a quick look at it before we go ahead and bring it all the way back up to the area where we started to bounce all over the place. And we're going to go ahead and run this a couple more times because there are some interesting things we can do, and we don't need to go too fast through here. One bounce is okay, as long as we're not bouncing all over the place. So the interesting things are these 2 ramps over here. We can go ahead and hit these. We'll start with the one that's a little bit farther away, and then we'll hit the one that's closer. So we just smash the truck into it. It pops us up into the air in a nice, graceful manner. And the question is the truck going to land on its wheels or on its side? The answer is on its wheels, sort of. Let's speed this up and see if it can go back onto them again. Yeah, we're good. Can we drive? We got some drivability. We can put the power down. We can steer with one wheel, but this is not an off-road truck. This is the custom truck, and a little hill like that with some damage, it doesn't have a chance. And now we're going to try to hit the closer and slightly wider ramp, but the angle for this ramp is not as good as the other one, so you really have to swing out and then come to the left to hit it. So you go way to the right and then steer left hard. And that was actually a pretty good hit. Got us spinning and flipping. I like the way the bed cover just kind of floats as we fly through there. And with this being upside down, there's nothing more to do but reset the truck. And now I want to get something a little more off-road focused, so we're going to go with an Ibishu hopper Sport Special. And I'm going to spawn new right next to this pickup truck, and you'll see why later on. But for now, we're going to go to an area where this vehicle should excel. And along the way, there's that ramp again. And there's that target right in the middle. And I feel like trying to get the vehicle right in the middle of the target, so let's do just that. I think we got to slow down to about 70 miles per hour right at the end of the jump. Is that the middle of the target? Yes, that is perfectly in the middle of the target, although it really depends. Which are you trying for? Are you trying to hit the target, or are you trying to stop in the target? Me, I was trying to hit the target, and I succeeded in doing that. So now we're going to bring the vehicle back before the ramp a bit. And then we're going to head over to the off-road area on our left. And we're going to do some runs of the course with a variety of vehicles. But the first thing we need to do is get to the start of the course. And the hopper is really a great vehicle to do that. It just hops along until we eventually get to the starting line. And with this course, you can technically run it in forward and reverse, but it works a lot better in one direction in particular, I've noticed. So we're going to start off by doing it in what's probably the wrong direction, just to prove it doesn't work out too well. Because what happens is you got a big jump right from the start with a really harsh landing, and that itself can sometimes break some vehicles. Thankfully, though, we have a hopper, which is pretty durable. And then this here is also not pretty. Yeah, we're flipping over just because this is not the direction it's probably designed to go in. But if you're really dedicated to it, you can make it through with a completely mangled vehicle. Even going through this area right here, it is bouncing my vehicle all over the place. There goes my entire roof. It just fell off. Just make it to the finish line, or what's truly the start line, and then we're going to try it with a different vehicle. There we go. That was absolute torture on the poor hopper. It was just getting beat up. So going in the other direction, let's get something not as off-road capable. How about, this should be good, the Baja version of the Autobello Piccolina. We all know this thing is not as off-road capable as a hopper, but it should be fine going in the opposite direction, because you'll see the way the jumps are lined up, it's a lot easier on the vehicle. That's about as harsh as the bumps will get going in this direction. We're still going at a decent speed too. We were going about 50 miles per hour through there. And it's not like I was trying to go through there particularly slow. In fact, I was trying to go through there as fast as I could using the Baja version of the Pickle. So here is the big final jump coming up, and you'll notice even going in this direction, the landing isn't as harsh as the other way. The other way kind of pops you at a weird angle. This one, it keeps you level so you can keep on driving without too much difficulty. And so far, we've only touched the left side of the course, but it really doesn't matter which side you use. As far as I can tell, they are the same. But now I want to use a vehicle that should excel at this. We're going to get a monster truck, and let's go with Gravedigger. Everybody likes Gravedigger, right? And then we need another monster truck, because I'm going to do a monster truck race. So for the other one, how about Hang 10? That one has a neat looking paint job to it. Looks like it has like a fake wood grain on it and stuff. So to have a race between the two vehicles, we first got to line them both at the start lines. Then we're going to hit F10. Then we go to Tools, Script AI Manager. Then we hit Record, and we're going to drive the course using this monster truck. Once we drive the course, we should be able to just tell the AI to do exactly what I just did. Or at least they'll do their best that they can to doing exactly what I just did. I will say, though, this course doesn't feel ideal for monster trucks because it's just a little too tight. It works great for the smaller vehicles because you have lots of room, but with the monster truck, you see, I only have like a foot or two on each side of the truck, which is kind of hard to manage when you're flying through the air half the time. And speaking of flying, we're going to fly across the finish line and, well, actually crash across the finish line. My surfboard and my wood grain are falling off. That is a very, very sad situation. And can we get back upright? No, we are completely upside down, but it doesn't matter. We just saved that route, reset the truck, go back to Gravedigger, tell them to do the route, and did it work? Well, looks like it. They're going to run the route, so now we just got to catch up to them and hopefully pass them. And to do that, I just have to drive better than them, because as far as I know, all of the monster trucks perform the same. There is no difference between them except for the looks. At least, that's what it was like when I first took a look at this mod, but that was a long time ago. There could have been changes. I could be wrong. I have not analyzed this closely. So here we go. We are about to pass them soon, but I want to make sure the finish is nice and dramatic. I want us to both cross the finish line at almost the same time. They are going a little bit faster than me, but I can accelerate better, I think, because they were swerving all over the road. This is a pretty good finish. Let's get rid of the menu here to really see everything happening. Got 4 times slow-mo. Who's going to cross the finish line first? It is going to be me, just by a car length or so, because they went crooked off to the left, and so did I. That's actually kind of lucky that they didn't go straight, because if they went straight, we would have collided into each other. And they crashed into the wall again. Up, they just disappeared. I was going to crash into them. Well, let's reset my truck and we can tell them to slow down. They don't need to be driving anymore. And we don't need the AI menu anymore, so we can get rid of that. And then we can play with the monster truck in the off-road area over to our right. So we'll start off by hitting this first jump at a nice, easy speed. Don't want to do anything too crazy, about 35 miles per hour. Up and over in an easy landing. Really, though, with the monster truck, I don't need to be easy with it. I can pop this thing 20 feet into the air, and it'll land perfectly fine. It might look like it's going to tip over sometimes, but it does a really good job of keeping itself upright if you drive half decent. You don't even have to drive good. Just be half decent, and it's probably not going to tip over unless you really start doing dumb stuff. Here's another good ramp to hit, about 40 miles per hour, up into the air. Nice, easy landing, much cleaner than the previous ones. And we're kind of just on the mound of dirt, not really hitting the jumps. A little bit of a jump right there, nothing big though. I want to hit the mound of dirt coming from this direction though and try to get some air. Not going too fast once again, and oh no! Like I said, you only have to drive half decent though. Get upright. Yes! And now we're even popping a wheelie into the mound of dirt. Actually, that's more over the mound of dirt because we did not even slow down when we hit that. Got another tube over here we can try to drive over if I line it up well. Only a 30 mile per hour jump, but we still got some good air. A little bounce afterwards. All right, let's go ahead and try that jump. We're going to go fast with this one. We're going to go about 50 miles per hour. Really awkward flight. Really ugly landing. Can we keep it upright? Maybe floor it. Yes. Don't floor it right now, though. Okay, we are somehow back on our wheels, and we're still going. Although at this point, I kind of just want to kill the monster truck. Can you even do that if you're trying through here? Let's find out. Smashing into a wall, getting it upside down. Is that enough to stop it? Sort of. It's in an awkward position where it'll take a second for it to get back upright. So let's just say that's good enough. You did your job, monster truck. And let's try this with a more normal vehicle. How about we go back to the hopper? We'll get the custom so we have a bit more off-road focused version of it. And we'll just drive around, see how it does. We got some bumps over here. Go nice and slow through these though, because it's not like the monster truck where we can just floor it and be fine. We gotta actually think about what we're doing to some extent. That's about as big as the jumps we probably want to hit right there, and it was not nearly as big as the ones you do with the monster truck, but it's doing fine. You can definitely have some fun through here with either a monster truck or just a normal off-road vehicle. It does not matter. How about this jump? Yeah, looking pretty good. A little bit of a bounce at the end, but it's staying upright just like the monster truck does. A little bit of air again. Smooth landing. How about the tubes? Can we go over the tubes okay with the hopper? Let's see. 30 miles per hour again. A little bit of an ugly angle. Did break the rear drive shaft, but you can go over it if you really, really want to. Back over these tubes, much slower, only front wheel driving it. Just barely making it over. That was a little risky. Could have easily got stuck there. Also, I should mention, don't look at this map from above. Why? Just don't question me. Don't look at the map from above. This spot right here, the off-road area, don't do it. Anyways, let's go over here to the racetrack and try this out using a car made for racetrack. Obviously, a Bishu hopper with just front-wheel drive is not the ideal vehicle for that. So let's use a Bishu Miramar, and we'll go with the track version. That should be a pretty decent vehicle for this. This is a pretty small circuit right here, and it kind of makes me think of autocross because it's on a perfectly flat surface. There are no banks or anything in the corners. It's just all flat, and it's mostly tight corners, so you don't really get up to much more than about 50 miles per hour at most, it feels like. Maybe up to 60 on some of the straightaways. But most of it's going at about 30 to 40 miles per hour with the Miramars you're seeing right here, if not a little bit less. And I think we'll go ahead and do 2 laps of this place. The first lap is just kind of getting a feel for the vehicle on the course, and then the second lap, I'll try to go a bit faster. So that's about the top speed we're probably going to hit. That was about 55 miles per hour. Might be able to hit a little bit more right here, though. Let's see. No, 55 is as high as we're going to go, at least as high as we can go in the Miramar safely. If I had an SBR4, maybe we could get it up to 70 miles per hour, but that would really be pushing it. So we're doing this lap a little bit faster than last time, it feels like. Although there's no timer to say, yes, you actually are going faster, or no, you're actually going slower. It's all about feel. Do you feel like you're driving faster? The answer was yes, but that kind of felt a little slow. It's hard to know sometimes when the corners are this tight. You gotta slow down so much. It's sometimes hard to tell if you're actually going faster or slower. Anyways, we are now done with 2 laps, so let's go ahead and wreck the Miramar. And I actually thought that would cause some wreckage. It almost did, but not quite. We're actually okay. A little bit of damage crashing into a bush. Actually, the bush ate us. We are stuck in the bush. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to bring the car back off of the bush a little bit, And let's go ahead and get rid of the monster truck because we don't need that anymore. And it's actually in the way for what I want to do next. I'm going to be using some of the other ramps at the top of the map. So we'll bring the truck back up there and swap it out for something more fun like the hill climb version of the SBR4. And with this, we should be able to easily exceed 200 miles per hour on the ramps, which means we should really be able to fly. Most of the time, that isn't the goal. Why are you popping a wheelie? That was weird. But most of the time, that isn't the goal. You want to actually control your speed to land at the correct landing zone. But this one, nah. This one, you just go fast, fly, and then wreck your car. And it's going to flip over because the aerodynamics are really weird with this thing when the wing falls off. So we're bouncing into the ground. How much damage is that going to do? Quite a bit. There goes the rear wheel. Looks like the engine is still somehow working, though. Go ahead and speed this thing up and see if we can land on our wheels and do anything at all. Gonna land right onto the wheels beautifully. That was really, really nice. Although there goes one of the wheels, and I don't think the other wheels that are left are gonna do much at all. Yeah, we can't do nothing. We're just gonna fall off. There's actually only one wheel left. I thought there was two. Well, I just had an idea. I wonder, what would the damage look like if we crashed directly into the water? Obviously, it's gonna do less damage, but how much less? Will it still be easily identifiable that this was an SBR4, or will it look like a mangled mess just like last time, except a little less mangled? We're gonna find out. Once again, going as fast as possible, reaching a peak speed of about 210 miles per hour. And I'm slowing it down a bit so you can see what it looks like when we hit this bump. And you see the bump does do some damage, which is why on this one, I'm not really trying to land the vehicle. I'm just letting it fly and get wrecked. On the next ones, I'll try to fly them and land them, though, because it's a much easier and more consistent ramp. Oh, the engine fell out. Okay, well, aside from the engine completely falling out of the vehicle somehow, it does not look that bad at all. The water works as a great cushion. Anyways, we are now going to move on to ramp number 3 out of 5. So we're about halfway through all the ramps now, although on this one we do want to run it twice because there are 2 different places we can land. And I'm going to try to land good 2 times in a row. And actually, I probably should have changed the vehicle here just to give us some variety. I'll make sure I change it for the next run. And here I'm going to slow it down a pretty good amount. 150-ish miles per hour should be decent. Can we land it? Maybe a little bit of an overshoot, but that is nice and smooth still. And we just keep flooring it, going in a straight line for the finishing jump. We're going to hit that at a decent speed of about 135 miles per hour. And we're almost overshooting the billboard. Not quite, but it was really close. Really hard impact right there, completely destroying the front of the vehicle. And now we just let it fall to the ground and get obliterated to pieces. Ain't gonna be much vehicle left on this. I'm actually surprised we have so many wheels still attached. How many is so many? 2. We only have just the rear 2 wheels left, and the roll cage really did a really good job of holding the shape of the vehicle up to some extent. So let's go ahead and bring this thing back up to the top. And let's swap it for a Hirochi Sunburst Off-Road Edition, because we need one with some ground clearance, because it makes it a little bit easier to manage the jumps. You don't have to worry about bottoming out. So you can be a little bit faster and a little bit more aggressive with your landing. Because for some reason, I seem to struggle hitting the lower landing section on this jump. And if you were paying attention, you probably already saw the lower landing section. It was directly below the section we landed on using the SBR4. And you can tell it's going quite a bit slower than the SBR4 was going, but we still need to slow it down some more to land on the lower jump. Only about 100 miles per hour sounds like a pretty promising speed. Can we make it? Not the greatest of landing. It's a double bounce, but we got a really good suspension setup to keep us going. And then we floor it to the end, and we're not going to be going nearly as fast as we were with the SBR4 because we're driving a slower vehicle and we're on a smaller ramp. So can we even touch the billboard? The answer is going to be no. We just fall short of it. We can still get some slow-mo as we slam into the ground, which again does a very decent amount of damage. And then we'll let it roll down the hill once more, just like the SBR4 did. Eventually, we will hit some trees and get some good damage, I assume. There's a tree. And I probably have some steering still. Yeah, I can steer a little bit. It's not very precise, but I can try to avoid that tree, and it doesn't actually do anything because the steering is very imprecise. Try to get through the trees to the water. Can we do that? Yes. And there are even more faces underwater. They really are everywhere. Anyways, a quick look at the damage before we go ahead and reset the Sunburst. And we'll go back to the Miramar, and we're going to replace it with something with a little bit more off-road capabilities. So let's go with the rally version of the ETKI series. Now, I don't need a lot of off-road capabilities, like a pickup truck with 4-wheel drive and stuff. That's just a bit overkill. But rally levels of off-road capabilities that's perfect. It could be an ETK I-Series, it could be an Ibishu Covet, Ibishu Pessima. It really doesn't matter. I just need something with all-wheel drive and a little bit extra ground clearance. That's all we really need here, because we got a bunch of dirt paths over here that you can drive through, and if you do it with an off-road pickup truck, it just feels like overkill. With a vehicle like the ETK I-Series, though, it feels perfect. You do have to drive a little bit decent to make sure you don't wreck yourself, but it's not super hard or anything. Just take your time and be patient and you'll be fine. Eventually, though, we will find a road that's a little more difficult, and when that happens, we will go ahead and switch vehicles. Also, you saw how I almost fell off right there? That's actually not the end of the world, because there are more roads down below. In fact, there are a ton of off-road roads all over the place on this map. There's no way I'm going to drive through all of them, but I'll drive through a little section of them so you can at least get an idea of what they're like. And as you can see here, working great with this rally car. No problems whatsoever. It's bouncing around, but it has enough suspension strength to do that. I don't have to worry about possibly breaking the suspension and getting stuck with this car. We just take our time and we're good. Look at those shadows. Going through the shadows. See, now here, this is where it gets a little more difficult. You can climb that. You need a serious off-road vehicle to do that, though. You ain't going to do that using this car. So we'll stick to the roads that we can go over. And even that is actually a little bit of a struggle. It's getting a little more difficult, as you see. And soon enough, we will need to change vehicles. But so far, we're still going. We'll basically keep going until we get stuck. Who knows? Maybe the I-Series will surprise me. Maybe it's actually just as good as an off-roader as the off-road pickup trucks. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Sure, there is a small chance, but it just doesn't have the ground clearance and it doesn't have the lock-in differentials. It doesn't have the capabilities. Although we are going 30 miles per hour through here, which ain't nothing to sneeze at. Drop down to about 20 at some sections. There's like almost 40 for a second. All right, let's give it a challenge. Can it go through here? A pickup truck? Yeah, it can do this. I-Series? No, it can't, unfortunately. Okay, let's just try to back out of here and just keep driving for as long as we can. I saw an alternative route. We'll see where this route goes. I think in the end, I'll get to the same spot I wanted to go. There's this one central area where there are so many options for which direction you want to go. It's crazy. And they're all just these different off-road paths. I gotta be very careful going through here, though. And it's an automatic transmission mode, which is kind of dumb because I'm trying to brake. But I know if I hold it down too far, it'll just start to accelerate in reverse. So I have to be really kind of careful about this. See, there it is. It's accelerating in reverse. That's not what I wanted. I wanted brakes. Oh, and now the engine just turned off. Okay. Well, at least if the engine's off, it won't do that. Although it just turned itself back on, too. Crazy engine. All right, here is the area I was actually trying to go to anyways. So from here, we got how many paths? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I think, maybe? Yeah, like 8 different paths or something. It's crazy. Let's go off-road, though. We're going to use the D15 Extended Cab Off-Road Edition of the D-Series. And we just pick a route and see where it takes me. I'm going to choose route number 3. And I think this route should get us back up to the area where we were playing around with the monster trucks. And good luck taking a monster truck through here. It's just way too thin. There are even some spots where it feels a little too thin for the D-Series. And the D-Series ain't that fat. The monster trucks, they real fat. They would get stuck all over the place. It's kind of funny. You would never think a D-Series is a better off-roader than a monster truck, but there are specific situations where that is definitely the case. Okay, if we go over to the left, I'm almost certain that is the direction I want to go to get back to the off-road area with the monster truck. Yeah, I am 100% certain now because I recognize this dirt. Both say I recognize that circle. That circle is a circle with the bullseye in the middle. So let's go to the other off-road area over here, and we're just gonna fling the truck off the edge and see what happens. It might roll down, it might get stuck in a tree, I don't know, but that looks like a great looking kind of ramp thing, doesn't it? Ooh, right into a tree and right into another tree. Stuck in between 2 trees and we ain't going anywhere. That truck is stuck. So now, back to the ramps. Time to get a different car. How about an ETK K-Series Track Day Edition? And we're gonna move on to ramp number 4. I gotta make sure I count it and go down the right ramp. I see 3 to my left, so this has to be 4. And this one should be going a lot faster than the Sunburst went just because it's a much more powerful vehicle. I'm thinking we can reach 200 if we really wanted to. Let's find out. 180, 190, and 200. But we need to slow down because this jump, you can't be going that fast. You need to be going much slower than that. And just to show you how treacherous this jump is, look at this. We're going over these tubes and just barely clearing them. That's what you gotta do. You barely clear them so you can have the smoothest landing possible. And that one was smooth enough. And then you also need to have a lot of speed afterwards because we are now gonna do another loop. And I know the camera's gonna freak out. There it goes. So we fix the camera, and then we watch the vehicle do the loop. So it should look just like the other one, except I think we're going a little bit faster than before. Front drive shaft has broke, but we still got rear wheel drive, which should be enough. All we have to do is the loop, and then we shoot off. That's it. There's no extra road like the other one. Fix up the camera, and then full speed ahead. Over the other ramp, and down to the ground, which is gonna annihilate the vehicle. In 3, 2, 1, boom. It actually held up surprisingly well because it landed on its wheels. So like everything got crunched, but it still has the length of a vehicle, just not the height. So it's now a car designed for really, really short people. Tall people, too bad, you can't fit no more. Although if you wanted to, you could just make a hole in the roof and then stick your head through it, I guess. Anyways, on to the final ramp. We're gonna use the drag version of the Moonhawk because I wanna go fast for the final jump. Is it necessary? Actually, yes. You do need a very fast vehicle for this final jump. You don't need to go very fast for the initial jump, but the after jump, well there. That's where you're gonna want a fast car. And when I say fast car, I mean a fast car. And you can't get much faster in a straight line than this car. So let's see how fast we can go to the bottom of the ramp. Easily over 200 miles per hour, up to 230 almost, but we gotta slam on these brakes and slow this thing way down. The brakes we've been fading, we slowed down so much. How smooth is this landing? Could have been smoother. Can we keep it under control? Exhaust damage, that's fine. It just makes it louder and more aggressive. And we made it, and we just gotta climb this ramp. That's what we gotta do. And that is a success. And really, we just made it over the lip. We had a car that was just a little bit slower. I don't know if it would have made it over. So anyways, time for the crash. Full speed crash, right into the trees. And that's gonna do it for this video. So until next time, this has been WhyBeAre, and remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by the number of ramps on the map, so do the right thing, and I'll see you next time.